Hey guys, this is Dreadbane joined by Sapphire. Now this is game 2 of the New Zealand Cup that we've got here. Now this is Always You now playing the green Zerg, and his opponent of course is Stroggos, who's now the light blue, let's call it, Protoss. Now this is Metalopolis, so we had a good first game, sir.
Yeah, and once again, we do have these contentious positions, as always you is spawning on Metalopolis, and there is this shorter distance as opposed to what the Zerg player would prefer is to be cross-positional, so it's a long way away so he can expand nicely. And the problem with these positions is that both players, effectively their third expansion after their natural becomes very, very contentious. They would naturally normally try to take a convex of expansions, and especially for Zerg, you'd like to lead your creep into your third expansion and have a nice, easy, defensible area. But with these positions as they are, this third becomes really hard to take, and you have to go for an off-map expansion on the other side. Interesting opening here for Always You, going for the 10 Overlord Extractor trick, which is a very interesting choice. Now, the math on Team Liquid indicates that 9 Overlord is actually superior, but we have seen certain players do it. I know Celawera, famously the high-level Korean player, he refuses to go 9 Overlord, sticks to his 10 Overlord expansion trick because he likes that extra burst of minerals and he doesn't worry about the long-term economic differences. But once again, we are seeing Stroggos throw down this early forward gateway, so interesting to see how Always is going to respond because he is scouting it right now.
We should enjoy this series that we've got here with this Zerg New Zealand player, because after he lost that first one, this is the last time we're ever going to see a Zerg New Zealand player, so that would be taken care of next. So, meanwhile, I mean, he's really just doing the same build. It's a good choice because he can then easily take this expansion if he really wants to. He's already halfway there, so we'll just have to sit tight to see if Always You really does something different, because he actually had a really good start, and he had, for most of that game, he was actually quite good. He had the dominance for a long period of time. He just couldn't seal the deal. So we'll have to see if he's got that killer instinct this game, or really if if Stroggos can actually pull something out of the bag earlier.
Yeah, really nasty harassment going on there for Stroggos, just constantly nipping at Always Use drones, forcing even one of the patches to shut down. And we do see a spine crawler going down, so worried again, once again, by this forward positioning of these gateways. Now, the interesting thing, this is Metalopolis, so it's a lot harder for Stroggos to transition into a forge fast expansion. Although, just as I say that, he throws it down. This is a lot more open. This backside of your expansion area, you can run Zerglings by, you can get a nice Hydra Roach combo, and there's such a big area for mutas to dance in and out of, as opposed to that really narrow cliff on Lost Temple, which basically forms a natural defensive valley. And right now, there is that forge going on, and Stroggos has created this artificial wall in, so units are not going to be able to come around the top side. They will have to come around behind the Nexus, and he can position cannons behind it, but it's just not as strong as the wall in that you see on Lost Temple. And we are seeing Stroggos Always You capitalizing on this scouting right here, taking the Zelnagas, just trying to make sure he understands everything that's going on, looking like he's going to throw down his own expansion, and this time it hasn't been harassed, so bit of a reversal here. Always You planned for a one base opening, went into one base Roach, and now seeing the Forge Fast expansion going on, he's actually transitioned into an expansion. So once again, Always You's game plan has been mixed up. He's a little bit free-flowing with his game plans, which you have to be, and Stroggos is just cannoning up right now while this Overlord from Always You goes into the back of his base to pick up that scouting information. So Stroggos is going to be in a strong position because it throws the onus onto Always You to break it and throw the pressure, and we are seeing these roaches coming across the map now.
Yeah, only now is the gas even coming up in the cybernetics course, so it's going to be a bunch of these zealots and this 2 cannons versus this early pressure from these 4 roaches. So we'll have to see how that works out. Roaches, of course, pretty good against zealots, but with these cannons, he should be okay if he really forces himself back. He's got this second expansion mining already, though, of course, because he built that very early. So at least for the meantime, he's okay because he hasn't lost anything quite yet. Of course, it's very early. So the longer this goes on, Stroggos is going to be in a better position.
Yeah, this is a frustrating experience for a Zerg player. When you've opened up with one base roast, realized there's a forge fast expansion going on, try to get your expansion going at the same time, but your one base road strategy is basically thwarted by these two cannons, and these zealots can just hang out with these cannons, which is nice positioning, because the roaches were trying to come in there to get a few free shots on the Nexus, but the cannons were able to actually hit them because of that shortened range on the roaches. But we are seeing AlwaysYou throwing down that spine crawler forward now, just being more defensive, because that 2-gate opening is very alarming from a Zerg perspective. You expect that it's just a flat-out all-in zealot rush, and Stroggos doesn't do that. He just uses that to make his opponent defensive, and then uses that to get that expansion advantage, which he does now. And it's only just now we're seeing AlwaysYou getting his mining online. So despite the fact that the income is very similar in levels, although Stroggos is up by 5 harvesters, this entire time Stroggos has been mining from 2 expansions, whereas AlwaysYou hasn't. So the income rate is very similar right now, because AlwaysYou has been droning up pretty hard, but Stroggos has had that expansion on for so much longer, and enables him to throw down these 4 gateways. So he's going to have 6 gateways supported here, and once that Cybernetics Core finishes researching warp gates, he's just going to be able to flood units in. And there is this window, I believe, that AlwaysYou is kind of not working on, because this whole window, while he gets those gateways on, Stroggos is not able to produce many units at all, and he was really open for that pressure. So it probably would have paid for AlwaysYou to stick to his one-base road strategy and try and knock this expansion down with just constant streams of roaches. But no, he's transitioning, and now he has to play catch-up. So it'd be interesting to find out if this is going to be effective for AlwaysYou.
Looks like we're going to have to sit tight for a while these two are really just protecting their expansions. I mean, you can say wisely, of course, but we just have to sit and wait for one of them to really attack at this point. Looks like the battle will happen at this middle expansion, as you were pointing out earlier, Seth. So we'll just have to sit tight. As I say that, though, the Stalkers and these gateways are now warp gates. So the pressure is about to come from Stroggos.
Yeah, we are seeing the Stalkers pushing out, coming into this creep, but there is a bunch of spine crawlers. I think AlwaysYou is going to be just fine. It's going to come down to the micro. Yeah, Stroggos realizes the error of this push. He is in no shape to work on this. Although, even just coming in and announcing his presence, he kind of makes AlwaysYou a little bit defensive, makes him think, oh gee, all these Protoss units outside my base got to produce a few more units, can't drone for quite as long, and this Overlord's going to go down. So that's a bit of a loss there for AlwaysYou. 2 Overlords supply capping him pretty badly there at 77 over 68 food right now, which is a really bad situation, and looking like Stroggos is going on the hunt, trying to find other Overlords. Lucky for AlwaysYou there isn't any more here, but while he has this Zelnaga, this expansion's going down. So this is bad timing for AlwaysYou, because Stroggos was standing at the Zelnaga, forced to cancel, and now Stroggos realizes that AlwaysYou is going to try and expand somewhere else on this map to try and get that macro advantage. So this is bad timing by AlwaysYou while he gets his Hydra Roaches online, and those big Hydra Balls will do so much damage against those gateway units and will do really well against him. But AlwaysYou needs to not fall for that trap and not capitalize when Stroggos transitions into Colossi, which I imagine he will do once he realizes how heavy AlwaysYou is going Hydralisks.
It's a curious position right now, because just more and more Hydras, more gateways actually coming down as we speak. 2 more coming down in the expansion area. So there's going to be a lot of these gateways, and now these Hydras are moving across the field with these Overlords in tow just for the creep highway, a makeshift one there. Stroggos should be okay. He's got the bigger army now, but these Hydras are so dangerous. You just got to be very careful with them.
Yeah, once again, AlwaysYou is very aggressive with his creep, which is good to see. But now we are seeing these spine crawlers coming in. That's the reason for the creep, but he's nicely, once again, forced these units into a corral, and these Hydras cannot flee. They're forced to engage, but more Hydras coming in, flying along the creep into this position. So this is a bit of a bad spot here for Stroggos. He's on the verge of being contained, and while this is going on, AlwaysYou is expanding and taking his third. And Stroggos not thinking about that right now, just worried about the fact that right outside his base is a